Up the inside, Charlotte Kainz makes a bid, moves into third.
35L coming to the front. 2 laps to go. We still got 8 bikes battling for the lead. Here comes Charlotte Kainz up the bottom. 35L from West Allis, Wisconsin, your leader. Here comes Gillum up to the high side.
He's got 2 more corners to bring the checkered flag
Here
home.
comes the young female Charlotte Kainz to win a semifinal here at Rapid City.
Charlotte Kainz, man, oh man, what a run working through the field. You win the semi. What's the expectation now for the main event and your team?
Hoping to get a good start and move through the field. I know the clutch was slipping, so I had a pretty bad start, but I'm pretty happy to be up here and to be in the main. I can't thank everyone enough helping me out. My mom and dad, Spectral Oil.
Charlotte, say hi to Mom.
Hi.
Say I just rode around the track. All by yourself. All right. Say we're gonna do it some more in a little bit. Wave, give her blow her a kiss. All right.
Well, I think the first time Charlotte saw a motorcycle, she couldn't process what it was, for sure, but I got her a motorcycle when she was about 3 months old. I got her a PW50.
I was wondering what the heck he was thinking, but turned out he was thinking ahead of the curve, or at least ahead of me. And I was had some trepidation at first, but she's got good stock in her, so she comes by it naturally.
I wouldn't let her ride with training wheels on a motorcycle. I said once she could ride her bicycle without training wheels, I would let her ride a motorcycle. She got those training wheels off as quick as she could and said, Dad, I can ride a motorcycle now. Flat track was really her main thing, mostly because I did it first. She would come to races before she got a race and watch me race and be cheering me on. And so when it was time for her to race, she wanted to do flat track.
She's always been kind of just nonchalant about it. You know, I'm doing this and I'm doing it because I like to, and I'm with my dad, and the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. She was going to race along with her dad.
You and Denny did that?
No, me, Haley, and Denny.
Oh, this is your ocean?
As a teacher, it was hard to get to know Charlotte because she doesn't let you in right away. She did share her interest in motorcycle racing, and she couldn't bring her bike in, but she did the next best thing. She drew and then explained what each part of the motorcycle was to the rest of the kids. Charlotte was never afraid to do something that wasn't stereotypical.
She had this internal drive that many students don't have at a second grade level. She would never walk around and say, oh, I got an A, or I just made first place on my racing or anything. I always had to ask her, and it was very exciting to see a student at that age to be like that already.
What I want to see for myself is going to the AMA Grand Nationals when I'm older to be a pro.
Yeah, Charlotte!
Dirt track is where racing started. If it wasn't for dirt track, who knows if motorcycle racing ever would have became something.
Wild world of sports, dirt track on TV, when it's coming.
But you go fast, you turn left. It sounds easy, but if it was easy, anybody could do it.
To go down the straightaway and pitch that bike sideways, it's the most amazing thing in the world to watch.
I feel as comfortable sliding sideways at 120 miles an hour as I am sitting on this sofa.
We're racing literally inches away from each other, and you could throw a blanket over 5 or 6 of us at a time going down the straightaway.
When you hold a motorcycle wide open on a dirt track and you throw it into that corner with the back tire out, and then you start picking the throttle up, because who picks the throttle up soonest is who gets out the corner soonest, and who gets out of the corner soonest and gets the best drive is who has the most straightaway speed, who's got the best lap time, who's going to win. I believe flat track's the most exciting form of motorcycle racing in the world.
The only true bike shop in Milwaukee at the time was Competition Cycle. Once a week we would go out riding, and we were constantly chased away from places to ride. It was a matter of not if, it was just a matter of when the guy with the badge would come and say, "You're out of here." A couple of the guys rented an airplane and flew around what is now Aztalan, and said, "Hey, that looks like a neat place to ride. There's a rest area on one side, the highway on the other, on a road, and another farm. The motocross track and the oval track take up most of the land, and what's left is used for parking facilities." First race we had, we didn't even charge an entry fee. I think it was just $1 or $2 for gate admission.
I can remember going out there with 4 little children, and the kids' jobs was to pick up the aluminum cans to take to the recycling center. They built a short track for Al, and I didn't do much more than sign up the first year. Then by the second year, we were doing scoring and sign up and the whole bit. In 1980, I became secretary of the club, held that position for 35 years. We have stepped back from our board positions, but we are still active members of the club.
Here's my girl. She's finding the fast line and finding the jumps.
In the beginning, we were learning how to just ride a motorcycle, but we knew she wanted to race. We'd go out to Aztalan, and she would be watching all the time, and she said, "I want to get out there, I want to go do that." And her first race, she was really, really nervous. She was kind of scared, but she got through it and never looked back from there.
It was like her own backyard. It was her tribe, it was her community, it was her playground. She felt safe there, she felt welcomed there and supported. Yeah, it was just like a glorified campground kind of place, hometown. No airs anywhere, just everyone treating each other just like family.
Super DIY, it was homegrown, it was cheap to do, and it was super welcoming. You just went there, paid your 20 bucks, paid your gate fee, and you went and did it, and that was it. To learn flat track, there's nowhere to go practice. Like, the only way to learn it is to go sign up for races and do it. You just kind of got thrown in the deep end. That's still the way it works.
If somebody breaks down, somebody's there to help you fix something, and mostly you can find a group of people that are like all on the same page, and it's really fun, competitive, and it's a lot of camaraderie. It's pretty cool.
People here and there give me tips about like putting your elbows up in the turn and stuff like that. You need practice, definitely.
It didn't matter if you were good at it or not. If you weren't a dick, you were totally welcome.
There will be a riders meeting at the scoring tower in 10 minutes. Riders meeting at the scoring tower.
There are several of you that have not been here before, so I will explain the procedures for starting, etc. Number 1 means you have first choice on the line, wherever you want to go. Number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on.
Al and Judy pretty much ran Aslan, and they ran a tight ship. I mean, Judy ran sign up and scoring, and Al was a referee. Al had a pretty strict riders meeting. It was all about, let's do the right thing, let's be safe, let's have fun. Those 3 things were very important to Al and Judy both. Their kids all raced. They lost a child racing in Springfield.
I forget the year that Jimmy Sumner passed away, but it was, I want to say it was a couple of weeks after he passed was my first race. And Al and Judy were there doing their thing, you know, doing sign up, doing scoring, you know, and it's like, they're here? You know, they love this sport so much that 2 weeks after that, they're doing their job at ASI because we all need them there. And it just, in that, you know, that blew me away. ASI does teach you the groundwork to do whatever you want to do, especially flat track. Just the way you interact with other riders on the track and deal with the starter or the referee. And it's just a really well-organized, well-run facility, but it's still like your family running it, you know. Al's like your dad or your grandpa, you know. You're not really in trouble, but he's serious, you know.
We are really one big family. We communicate with each other, we help each other, and when the season's over, we just feel a sense of loss and anxiousness until the next season starts again.
What do you think about Charlotte racing?
Oh, I think it's awesome. She's pretty fast and she loves doing this stuff. I mean, I wouldn't let her do it if she didn't want to do it, you know, so.
How does it feel when you're watching her race?
You get a little nervous, but not really that much, because I know she's a good rider, I know she knows what to do, and she keeps herself in good situations all the time, so I guess more proud of her than anything. So.
Right on.
When Charlotte decided she wanted to do flat track, we had to make some mods. So we had to make her a steel shoe, which is where you put that on your left foot because you always turn left in flat track. So you can slide your foot, so it kind of gives you an outrigger for balance.
Everyone that had one was like, oh, my buddy, you know, welded this up for me. You know, that's how they used to talk about it. And then they had a little strap. It was so primitive in a way because you had this like nylon strap and you'd link it in and then you had to duct tape it onto your foot every time. It's this ritual of getting the boot on, getting the steel shoe on, tightening it down, and then someone kind of helping you with the tape.
My mom took me. My dad had to work. They were both factory workers at General Motors in Michigan. And my mom took me to my first flat track, Auto City Speedway. Me and my brother both raced together. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I turned pro when I was 16 years old. At 11 o'clock, I'd get out of school. I'd drive to Chicago and race at Santa Fe Park, make $600. I'd come back home, take a shower, and go back to school. I was good, fairly good in school. I missed a half credit of English, a half a credit of history, but I was good in math, I said, because I was counting money.
And here comes, on the inside, it looks like Shobert. Shobert looks like he just drafted by Ricky Graham to win the race, coming up on the inside, right at the checker flag.
I started amateur racing when I was 8 years old in the town of Lubbock, Texas. And then the movie On Any Sunday came out. I got to see what a pro motorcycle racer was, you know, and that inspired me the most of anything. When I was 16, you know, when school was out, I would race 5 days a week. All the pro riders you've seen at all these races you went to, they were all my mentors, you know. I mean, that's what pretty much drove me to do what I ended up doing.
And I hung out with older people that was like On Any Sunday, and they took me under their wing and brought me up.
In the beginning, I was belonging to the motorcycle club and riding scrambles events, which is the modern-day motocross. I raced every flat track race that I could around the country up in Idaho in those days. Now, this is late 60s. So I says, if I'm going to go racing, I'm going to have to leave Boise, Idaho, and go to where the racing is. Well, that happened to be Ascot Park in Los Angeles.
But it is a mighty big house here this evening at Ascot Park for this, the final dirt track championship motorcycle race ever on this old half mile.
There was an aura about that stadium that you could just feel the vibrations. When you walk up to the stadium, before you even got inside, you knew the place was alive. It was across the street from a cemetery, so when they dig a new hole, they'd bring all the clay over and just dump it on that whole area. Well, that all got graded into the racetrack. Well, turned out to be a very sticky clay, and which meant you could go very, very fast for the speed. I mean, it was a half-mile track, and we were running around there in 23 seconds. There were so many racers that would show up to race that they would have to race even numbers on one Friday night and odd numbers on the next Friday night. Within 2 years, I was riding for the Harley factory. The factory did not have mechanics that would travel around with you or build your machine or anything. You still had to do that. And if I was going to make a living racing motorcycles then, it had to be flat track. No girl rode a motorcycle that I knew even. I never saw one at a racetrack in those early days. In fact, early on, why women were not even allowed in the pits. And then as a beginning introduction to getting women into the pits, they said, well, okay, you can be a mechanic. If you dress like a mechanic and put your white overalls on and buy a mechanic's license, then you can get into the pits. Well, in the early 70s, my wife would have no part of that. She says, I'm not the mechanic, and I'm the wife, and I'm coming into pits. She was a bit of a rebel at the time, but she initiated the original women in the pits without having to be special licensed and all of that.
This is Charlotte's second time dirt bike ride, and she's doing really good all by herself. Looks like she's trying to pass somebody. She's getting a little wild. She thinks she's racing already.
Charlotte loved going to racetracks. It didn't have to be her racing. We would go to Springfield, and she would want to be there as soon as it opened and stay there as long as there was someone on the track. She knew in her heart that she wanted to be a professional racer.
Springfield Mile was pretty much everything to Charlotte. She was infatuated with it, obsessed with it. It's the closest mile track around, and it's the fastest. We'd go down there almost every year and watch. Sitting on the inside of turn one with her, just watching them zing by, you know. The amateurs don't get to ride Springfield. You know, you only get to ride there. You earn the right to ride there as a pro. From the time she was 6 or 7 years old, that was the goal. Not only was it to race Springfield, but it was gonna be on a Harley XR 750. She was watching at Springfield from the stands, not to watch a race, like she was learning. Like she was looking at the draft, which way do they go off of 4? Like she's banking all that information. She's not just a kid in the stands watching. I wouldn't be surprised if she took notes, you know? She was always watching and trying to learn just to soak it up. Because she knew from that age that she was gonna ride it.
Nice.
That's me.
Yes, that is you.
Yes. This one.
Charlotte, where'd you get those pictures? They're old pictures.
These are old pictures.
In like 6th grade, they had a class that was called FACE, which I think is what used to be like home ec and sewing. You know, we had to stand up and say who you were, like something you like to do. And I'm like, oh, I like to ride motorcycles, you know, like something quiet and weird. And then she stood up like across the room when it was her turn. I didn't know who it was. And she's like, oh, I race motorcycles. And I kind of looked and we kind of looked. We're like, oh, what the heck?
I don't remember the first time I met her, but she was little. I just remember she was little and she was racing. I met her when she was still racing her 50. She has like this intensity to her. You could see that even in photos. There was like wisdom in there that you just couldn't quite tap.
She was like 9 years old when I met her, already super dedicated to it, like hugely, and saw herself as a pro racer, saw herself going all the way with it. She was such a great artist and a budding artist, and I could see her talent there. And I'm an artist, so I wanted to always encourage that in her. I do have this one drawing that she did. It's of like a tornado coming through a town, and there's a house, there's a cow, like in the, it's like upside down, it's like moo, you know, and people, all this, and it was such an interesting drawing. I was like, why is she drawing that? Because she was so calm herself.
I come of a family of all boys, so of course I was the only girl there. She was one of the only girls there, so I kind of tucked her under my wing a little bit. I looked at her as a little sister.
She's so nonchalant about it. Oh yeah, I won second today, or I got a first, or maybe I got a fourth, and she's just having fun.
Looks like something you hang up. Wow! Let's see. Hold it up. Charlotte, hold it up. Charlotte, hold it up. Orange County Choppers.
Charlotte got competitive very quickly. For sure, when she won her 50 championship, you could tell her and her friend Austin were the two going for it. And Charlotte and Austin raced all the way to the finish, and Charlotte just barely beat them and won the championship. I think it was probably the next year in school, she actually wrote a book talking about her and Austin's race.
You could see right away that, you know, she was something else, you know, right away. She was just so driven, so driven. Some of the parents would have to like, okay, you know, your race is coming up, come on, get your stuff going and this and that. And Charlotte's race is up and she's got her helmet on and her bike's running. Like she doesn't need any coaxing or prodding to get ready for it. She's ready. Like she was ready the second she got there.
Look at that picture.
Wait, hold on. Who's that?
My mom. And she was in the track and 13 and 20-year-olds. Mom, I'm showing her pictures of you.
Oh, good God, no! Charlotte!
I showed her that one too.
The start of it was when I knew, it's kind of a funny story, is she was a couple months old and about 2 months old, and we were out at Aztlan, and all the bikes were going, and most babies out there like scream and cry, and this one would never nap, and she fell asleep to the sound of the bike, so I kind of knew genetically there was a predisposition, but I don't know, I never really thought about her as a girl doing it, just as Charlotte doing it, you know. It wasn't until you noticed that there weren't any girls out there, you know what I mean? It wasn't the fact that you noticed she was a girl out there, you noticed that there weren't girls out there doing it. The boys that she raced with don't make an issue of her being a girl, it's her being a competitor. And I think how the boys approach it, it's normal. You know, it's a normal thing, and that she can run with them and be a competitor in it. What's funny to me is to watch the spectators who aren't familiar with the sport to come, and then she'll take off the helmet, and you always see that reaction, like, you know, the double take of, oh, that's a girl.
Girls, if they watch this, they can be whoever they want, I think, but it would be cool if more girls got into this, because it's not just a boy sport. Girls shouldn't just be sitting at home playing with their dollies. I don't.
But do you think that girls can play with dolls and race bikes?
Yeah, sure.
We're all racers, and everyone's defined as a racer. We all want to be in competition, and we all want to win.
When I sit on that line and I'm looking at 42 other people, I don't know where I fit in. I know where I want to fit in.
Usually I put my head down on my handlebars and I do a little prayer.
I pray.
You pray?
I pray before it, and sometimes on that straightaway over there, I get a little scared jumping those as I come down and like, boom.
You have to prove yourself more to everybody, but other than that, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm practicing going on the throttle, jumping great, putting my elbows up. You need to keep your progress on the gas tank. Oh my God, am I gonna win? Am I gonna lose? And it doesn't really matter about the competition, it's just if you have fun and ride. Yeah, but it feels better if you win.
When you're in that moment, you don't see female racers. You don't see male racers. You see a racer in front of you. You want to get around. That's what you're going after. So, but what the crowd sees is different.
Nicole Chesney in fourth, ladies and gentlemen.
My dad, his brothers, my dad's dad, they all were motorcycle racers, so I feel like that when I came out, that's what I was meant to do. I was meant to be a motorcycle racer. Because I grew up at the racetrack, I never really thought of myself as different. All my friends were little boys running around at the racetrack, and we all had the same interest. You know, we were all building little tracks and playing with our toy motorcycles. And at the racetrack, I wasn't treated any differently because that's all I knew. That's how I grew up and what I grew up with.
There's Scott Parker pulling out of the draft and going by.
Scott Parker came into the picture a little bit and was like, hey, if you really want to do this, you know, these are the things that you need to do.
I had the advantage to try to go to help her out. Well, and I went to Rebecca Stratman. She stepped up and bought the first motorcycle. She tried to coach her along the way, bringing her down into the business and letting her see the business side of it.
I was going out there to compete to be the best of everybody, not just females.
I would dress up in his clothes. You know, my stepdad's clothes. I'd put on his helmet and his chest protector and, you know, his jerseys. And, you know, eventually they're like, you know, maybe she wants to get involved in this. So they got me a bike and let me try it out. It probably was about 17, you know, like right around there is when I started becoming more aggressive as a rider in the guys class, you know, but I used the guys class to prepare me for big national races and my pro races because that's how they race. So, you know, I kind of used the guys to get confidence on riding aggressive. I would race every single weekend. I'd ride 3 classes, so I mean, you're looking at maybe tops 40 laps around a track every Sunday, and that's all I would do. When you pull up alongside of somebody that you're faster than, and they kind of look out of the corner of their eye and they see you, they gas it that much harder going, I ain't getting passed by this girl, and they absolutely cannot stand it if I pass them. Yes, I've gained their respect and they know that I belong here, so it's not that, it's just the point of the matter of their friends are really gonna make fun of them if they get beat by a girl.
I started racing in 2004. You didn't see other women racing, and then it was like, how do you get in? If you wanted to do it, you kind of had to figure it out. I went to AMI. AMI was American Motorcycle Institute in Daytona Beach, Florida. My purpose of going was to become a certified motorcycle mechanic. You know, I ended up getting hired at Harley-Davidson, and I remember distinctly the HR guy going, why are you trying to become a motorcycle mechanic? It's not only the independence, but it's being able to be in control of your machine and being in control of what you can do with your skill. I don't know if as a female racer, we ever differentiate ourselves because we were women. We just raced because we wanted the best machines. We wanted to be, you know, a fair race. You wanted to be able to showcase your skills, but without the men versus women kind of thing. It was more, you know, like, hey, we're in it to win it.
Those guys down there, when they come to the line, they don't think of those riders as girls. The other riders don't. They think of them as hardcore racers. And you better be on your A game when either one of those young ladies show up at a racetrack, because I promise you they're bringing their A game.
I don't know anybody that doesn't wear gear. The helmet is mainly for if you fall to the ground and hit your head. The goggles are for, because you know how some of those bikes, they flick up dirt? That's to keep the dirt out of your face. Boots, just something to protect your feet. Chest protectors for if you land on your belly. And then we've got pants with padding. Your pants are just something to cover you up with lots of padding. You have knee pads. I don't wear my knee pads because they don't fit my boots.
So going to the races, the pro races, was a big deal. It's not cheap, and if you want to get in the pits, you had to get a pit pass. What it did was allow you to go see your heroes. You get to see the racers. You got to see their bikes. You got to talk to them. And Char was shy. She really was shy. She didn't want to walk up to someone and just start talking. She really never did. But she would stand there and look and watch and take it in, and she just loved it.
Females looked up to me because I was one of the very few females that first got started. When they were getting started, they had questions, or they wanted to do what I was doing or grow up and be a professional motorcycle racer. Even when younger kids come up and are just, you know, oh, I want your autograph, you know, they're like starstruck. And in your eyes, you don't feel like this big star, but to them, you're this big star.
My first memory is Diane Cox. That may not be the first one, but it's the first one that I have memory of.
Jennifer Jennifer Schneider, can she make it? Checkered flag is out. They're coming down to the finish line, and Jennifer wins it! Jennifer wins it! Mike Hacker second, Rich King third.
Racing for Harley Davidson was a dream come true for me. Such an amazing experience to be at the highest level with the top team. The shift towards thinking that we could take this pro was when I was probably around 14 and we left the state and went to the amateur nationals. That was a big change, just getting to meet amateur riders and compete against amateur riders from across the nation. When I was growing up, I always heard about Tammy Kirk. Anyone would say, oh, we watched this female race and she was awesome.
Tammy Jo, how does it happen that a girl like you from Dalton, Georgia gets started in racing against some of the top motorcycle racers in the world?
Well, my father, he used to be a racer and he sponsored racers, and when I was born, I was supposed to be a boy and being a racer, so he just brought me up and had to, work with a girl, so I've done the best I can and done real well.
When I was actually 2 weeks old, my dad rode motorcycles and stuff, and he'd ride me around on a pillow on the gas tank and put me to sleep. I tell people I was born and raised on a motorcycle, and I was just around it all the time and just loved the sport, loved to go fast. I remember going to races sometime, and they would say, well, we don't have a class for a girl. And my dad would say, well, are you afraid to let the girl race with the guys? And they'd say, oh, no, we're not afraid. I would race with them, and 99% of the time I'd beat them. I mean, there's nothing like going fast at 135 miles an hour on a mile track and throwing it in a turn. I mean, there's nothing like that. The guys that race with me looked at me as another competitor.
I raced against Tammy Kirk a few times. As a matter of fact, she beat me one time in San Jose. She beat me at San Jose racetrack at the San Jose Mile, and racing against her and stuff. And I mean, the girls were fast. I mean, and felt safe racing with them. It was just like he was out there with anybody else,
Nobody expected them to be very competitive, and early on they weren't. However, as time goes on, that world has changed, and now they're very competitive, and this is very good. It makes racing better, and it's much more interesting. And I was in the crowd at this recent Sacramento race, and the crowd just went crazy for Shayna. It was good. I loved it.
Person, you're like, oh, she's so sweet and little, and then she gets on a bike and you're like, oh my goodness, I want to do that. Oh, she was definitely a fierce competitor.
She was older than me, so she was on a bigger bike, so I was looking up to her too, I went up and watched every single race that she did, and she would always tell me, hey, they're catching you here on this part, but you're really gaining on them down here in this corner. Like, there was a lot of mutual respect on the racetrack, and also just joking around and being good friends too.
Was she tough?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where did she get that from? Why was she so tough?
I think her mom was kind of like that.
She was totally fearless, and maybe that was just being around Jack and being around his friends, and everybody was like, never ever made her feel like you can't do this. Like it was just supernatural.
I do remember watching her at the Dairyland Classic and everybody talking very highly of her.
She would just stay on the gas. And that's really, I mean, in any racing, that's really all you need to do, but everybody recognizes it when you're watching it, but when you're actually on the bike, it's not that easy.
Well, Charlotte's taking over Lindsay's camera today. She's helping out with the photo opportunities that we could get. What do you think? Are we getting some good shots?
What?
Are we getting some good shots?
Yes.
Yeah? What do you think of that camera? You look good with it. It looks good on you. Hot. You hot, mama, you.
I started photographing Charlotte early 2000s. I don't know, she was so quiet and she hated her picture taken. Eventually, she got used to it. I loved photographing her. She was like one of the first young people that made me realize how much you could learn from a young person, from a kid. It just evolved into a friendship that with mutual respect, I think. She walked me around the track and showed me the lines on my first dirt track race. And I was seriously listening to, like I was taking her word, like, okay, and then I would implement those lines. She always beat me. I never beat her on a track. Like, she always kicked my butt.
Charlotte built Lindsay and I both up, you know. She really encouraged both of us. I'd ask her for advice and she would tell me just the very few things or nothing. And it's like, okay, I got this. Just from being around her. She was just a glowing light. She was the little Buddha.
When she was younger, I saw her as a kid. She was enjoying racing. She hated losing. She just was out there having fun. Her dad was there to support her. You could see it shift, especially when she started racing Springfield. She was on like a path. And then behind the scenes, she was funny. You know, she was funny and you could capture her. Like I was able to capture that every now and then with goofy photos. I think with any kid, you just kind of see how they evolve and how they grow. And I was just able to do that with a camera.
She felt like an old soul to me, always. We would lay down a blanket at Springfield and get out the sketchbooks and the paint and kind of go in another world while we're in that world. I was happy to be a part of that with her. Just watching her dream her life and draw it out. It was fun being like a sister with her. I mean, even though I was so much older, I feel like we were sisterly a little bit, definitely.
Big sister.
Big sister, yeah. I wanted her to ask me advice and stuff. She did it. Yeah. We all wanted it. We all wanted her to do that. It was girl power, you know? It was girl power in this men's sport.
I'm totally inspired by Charlotte. I want to be like her when I grow up. She's 11 and she has no fear. I'm almost 40 and I'm learning to lose the fear, okay?
And this is your first time drag racing and you're almost 40.
This is my first time drag racing and I'm almost 40. Yeah.
Oh.
Film her. Film you. No, film you. Film you. I want to be like you.
At one time, to win a national championship, you had to be an accomplished road racer. You had to do flat track.
You had the road race, and you had the short track, and you had the half mile, and you had the 1 mile, and you had the TT race. You had to do it all and get points in all of it, or no way you could be competitive.
Well, we have a hill climb close by. We have a supermoto track and a road race. Like, why don't we just try one series and make it affordable? And the affordability part, you just have to use the same motorcycle. It started bringing people in that saw that as a, you know, these guys are just really having fun. There was no trophy. There was nothing to win. I don't even think it was even on the internet, which is probably what made it so cool.
Hey Ron, what do you feel about the one bike rule?
Yeah.
How was it for you?
Very hard. One lap?
Yeah.
Right.
How was it? Fun.
How'd it go, Tina?
4 laps. Did you make it a lap? I made it 1 lap. First place
It's almost bigger than you.
You're pulling in people from lots of different places, lots of different spaces that maybe would have never thought to do a short track or never had an inclination to do a hill climb. In that respect, it was kind of cool. And yes, you got in some real characters that showed up and whatnot.
Hey, you look like a model laying there like that.
I wish I was.
You know, hey, I wanted to diversify my skills. I wanted to try it because learning all these different disciplines just makes you a better rider.
That series really supported anybody who rode, gave novices like myself the opportunity to get on the track and feel comfortable and trust the people around you.
Even Charlotte would be able to come, like race against all of us. We would always include her, or any kid, anybody. There was nobody was excluded. Everybody knew who she was. Everybody knew that she could ride.
You'd think you were fully lock slide, and then Charlotte would just like come on the inside or the outside of you and just like looking over her shoulder, like kind of giving you like, what's up? Like as she's passing you, you know? She would almost like spank you on the butt when she was going by. And then she would get all shy like, I don't know.
The RGB class flat track race at ASI every year was the Charlotte Kainz show, and she was going to embarrass a lot of grown men on full-size motorcycles.
It's comical because you'd see, you know, these veteran racers, you know, going full out elbows up, and there she goes.
Charlotte didn't get a big head, and she wasn't gonna put it in your nose, you know, that, oh, I beat all you guys. But she could walk past you and you knew that she felt that way a little bit.
We never let her win, basically, you know, like she was just one of us. And you wanted to stay behind her just to watch her ride.
Time to take second. There she goes. In the middle. Charlotte Kainz in second place. Nice move. Trying the inside. Slowly late. Is she gonna do it? Yes, she made it. Charlotte takes the lead. Oh my. All right. Yeah. Look at this girl go. She's a little at fun. She's winning. 72-pound fury. The wire side. Come around. Finish. Hell yeah! Charlotte Kainz! Trophies for both RC and group, so that's
Everybody responded to her in this beautiful way. Yeah, there are all these like knights around her, you know, protecting her. But then they all were looking up to her at the same time.
She was, you know, a young lady at 15, and she had a bunch of 36-year-old friends.
She had this respect for her elders, but then she also was able to have real friendships with them.
This is probably my first poster. J.R. Schnabel before he was a factory racer. My friend Terry, who races amateur with us. And Sean Russell. This is Andrew Hines, and this is his teammate, Eddie. I don't know how to say his last name. And there's a girl racer.
Who's that?
Jennifer Schneider. She doesn't race anymore. And this is a road racer. And that's Kevin Adamson, a flat tracker.
Women need to see other women riding, and they need to see other women racing, because that's who they go to connect with, to get started. Having Charlotte out there, and I'm sure this is probably true with all the other, you know, young females who maybe have grown up through and came through the ranks, but they're influencing every other little girl and, you know, every other female out there to be like, hey, you can do it, so can I.
Seeing her passion for racing and as a woman rider was very inspiring to me, and I know a lot of other women riders, especially in District 16.
She just inspired me to ride. Maybe that was because she was just a girl. She was a girl in a sea of boys, but I don't think that was it.
Shortly after Charlotte started racing, Andy, her mom, and I divorced. Charlotte split her time between Andy and myself. And at the races, we're together. She also played softball. She did sports. We always made sure that we were there together for Charlotte.
I always admired that they could be all together and both of them supporting her so fully, even though they had their differences.
You're crazy.
All right, Alessio Vinci, my family, and ready to move on.
That's quite an outfit.
It's what transforms a moment of pain and great sadness into a moment of celebration.
Charlotte, don't go out in that outfit. Good Lord, look at you. Galoshes, boxers, and a sweat.
Charlotte was really connected with her mother. Their mother and daughter, but they were more buddies even. They had these inside jokes with each other that went on, and that would get Charlotte giggling. Jack, was more like, okay, like not serious, but just, doing that. And Andy, she kept it light.
Charlotte and I loved being at the racetrack together. We loved riding. If she'd have a little trouble, we'd just talk about it. And we'd say, well, what was the trouble and what should we do? We need to change your air pressure. We need to work on your bike a little bit. You need to just take a break.
Well, it's dad and daughter, but like tuner rider, Jack would be like, how did this go? How did that go? And they would just kind of like quietly talk to each other.
This rim onto your hub.
So we are putting on the scale?
Yes. They eat, breathe, and sleep this, both of them did. And she was always in the garage, like working. Jack would have to prod her maybe to wash her bike, but aside from that, make sure her graphics were on straight. She would work so hard just at keeping your elbow up, and just at a really young age. Like, she just had perfect form from Jack, teaching her the basics. And then once she had that form, I don't know, it was probably 14 or 15. It's like, oh shit, I'm working to keep up with her now.
So as Charlotte was coming up, she would ask people what to do and how to do it. And to be honest with you, if I wanted to tell her something, I usually didn't tell her. I usually had someone else tell her. Kids get to an age where they won't listen to their parents. They don't care if they think you know or not. They want to hear from somebody else. I kind of played on that a little bit and used my friends, who are her friends, to my advantage.
Jack and I would talk, and then I'd talk to her, and she'd listen. And, she didn't know it was coming from Jack, but, and a lot of times Jack and I would talk about it, and we'd kind of figure it out together, like, okay, what's our best course of action here, and then, I would be the spokesperson, I guess, if you will.
When we would ride together, well, hey, Ian told me to do this, and then we'd work on that. She took it to heart. She took it very seriously.
Sometimes my ideas weren't always the same as her ideas. We worked around it as best we could. Sometimes we actually got a little mad at each other.
It's just amazing what is my fault. It's not.
Yes, it is.
My fault.
They went through their ups, they went through their downs, they went through their frustrations, they went through, it's It's all part of life and growing up and having a relationship with your father that is so unique.
So when Charlotte was really young and on small bikes, she could actually get off the line pretty well. As the bikes got bigger and had more power, she was so small that she would spin so much she'd have a hard time getting off the line and getting a good start. Once she got going, she would pick people off as well as she could, and sometimes it worked well and sometimes it didn't. But starts were usually difficult as the bikes got bigger.
Anybody can get a hole shot and stay out front. I'm not saying anybody, well, pretty much anybody. Some people can, but Charlotte would have to make her way to the front. Every time I watched her race, it was very rare if she got a hole shot, so she would have to pass people. It's not easy to do.
Gravity just didn't agree with her, you know, because she was just light, and she never gave up doing it, but she made up for it in turn one. Like, she just got that much better at turn one than everybody else. She would just found a way to overcome it.
So in AMA, you can turn pro when you turn 16 years old. Well, Charlotte knew that she was not ready at 16 years old. She did not want to go into a venue where she would not be able to be successful. So she decided to stay in the amateur ranks until she was 18. She wanted to make sure she had time under her belt. She wanted to grow as a person. She could hold her own and then some in the amateur ranks. In the pro ranks, it was going to be starting from scratch.
I mean, I remember her red and black Alpine Star leathers that she wore. I bought those for her when she was little and she couldn't fit into them. But I knew that, well, she's going to need these when she's racing miles and half miles and stuff when she was, I don't know, she must have been 12.
She was practicing her signature. I remember her doing it over and over and over so she could be ready to sign her picture, you know?
She respected what was going to happen as far as the power of the bikes and the speed of the competition. She really wanted to learn. She wanted to get faster. She was all in. As soon as she decided to turn pro, she was all in. She wanted to use 35L. 35 because that was one of her mentors, Dave Kilkenny's number, and L is the region that you're from.
You were a Kilkenny, you were number 35. All my brothers, all my uncles, that's just a number. It was the family number. I don't know if most families don't have maybe a number, but my Uncle John in the early 50s, that was his football number. And he passed it on to my Uncle Bill, my Uncle Red, my Uncle Kevin, and then my dad, and they all ran, whether it be whatever sport, baseball or football, they were all number 35. Naturally, my first race, I was number 35. I was over here one day and she kind of had that, you know, kind of smile, and she showed me her pro plate with a number on it. And she could have picked any number, you know? That meant a lot.
The fork, tubes and slides, axle, spokes, and wheel.
The XR750 is, you know, not your everyday average bike.
Fender connected to the number plate, seat.
In order to ride an XR750, several things have to line up. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes determination. It takes a very special rider and a very focused rider. It's unlimited horsepower, it's no brakes, and it takes years to develop those skills in order to properly campaign the bike and use it to its full potential. There's certain people that just have that, God-given talent, that they have the ability to do something that other people don't.
So I have a good friend up in my hometown named Gus Find, and he told me, hey, I have an XR 750, and if Charlotte ever wants to ride it, she can ride it. The first time she rode it was in his yard when she was probably 13. She just putted around the yard. We held the bike up, and she took off on it. I think around the time she turned 16 is when we brought the XR 750 down to my house. The first time we rode it was on the ice in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And that's a hell of a bike to have out on the ice. But the lake was perfect, it was glare ice. And she got on that thing just like it was a 450 and just was going like hell. Then we rode it at Aslan, which is just a short track. And you don't ride XRs on short tracks either. That's really tough, but she did very well doing it. So once I saw that she could handle this bike, I was like, wow, she's gonna be able to turn pro. Thank you very much for helping me out with pistons for my racing motorcycle. I'll keep you informed of my results. Part of racing is, as you get faster and you want to go places, is paying the bills. That's with sponsorship, that's with working hard, that's with getting people in your corner. That job was 95% Charlotte's job. She knew that if she wanted to get somewhere, she needed other people's help. She couldn't just do this alone. There are a couple of people that gave us some money. One of the biggest was Jerry Kennedy.
She was sitting by herself at the stadium in Vegas. I walked into the stadium and there she was sitting down about 10 rows down, and she turned around and she looked up at me. I never forget that look. She asked me what my plans were for next year. I said, what do you need? And she said, well, maybe a couple $100, maybe a tire, something like that. I said, you're gonna need a lot more than $200. I says, I'll put a check in the mail to you next week. And that's what started our relationship.
At the beginning of 2016, we went to Daytona. So we wanted to do the Daytona short track. We did not make the main. She made it into the night program, but didn't make the main. So we're down there racing, and Charlotte got a call from her mom, and she was in the hospital and not feeling well. And we get back home, and it turns out that she was having some internal problems. And just weeks later, she passed away. That was hard for Charlotte. Charlotte and her mom spent a lot of time together. They loved each other. But she knew that things had to go on.
Andy instilled the strongest drive and determination in her. That's who she was. I could see that that's what the kind of person she was, and she definitely instilled that in Charlotte. And then when she was gone, once you lose your mother, and it's this huge transition, this milestone in your life that you think is gonna come way later. You think it's gonna happen so much later, and there it is in your teens. Yeah, she transformed that grief and that loss into racing. Jack decided to take her on that whole circuit. That's what she always wanted. He knew how important that was to her, and so he's like, we're going. We're doing it all.
Races from coast to coast every weekend in the summer. It's like unbelievable schedule of mechanics and driving and rebuilding motors on the road and fixing broken vans and getting Charlotte what she needs. And
I know that you're starting with this, but you do other kinds of racing too. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a professional flat tracker in the GNC2 class, so I do that full time.
And now what does that mean for the people who don't know that GNC2?
There's 2 levels. That's the lower level. The GNC1 is the experts. So yeah, that's when you first turn pro. You're a GNC2 rider and you ride 450s and the 750, the twins.
Now for flat track, if you're racing GNC2, that means you're all over the country, right?
Yeah, the past month actually I was in Phoenix, Sacramento, Illinois, 3 weeks in a row, so this is my one of my off weekends, so, but not really off.
So this is what you do in your free time then, I guess, eh?
I'm hoping it becomes more regular, so yeah.
So when do you go to school?
I'm a college student. I just finished my freshman year, so back in like September I go back.
Okay, where at?
UW Whitewater.
And what are you studying?
Business.
Are you going to go into motorcycle business?
I'm hoping to stay in the industry, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. We are currently the fastest growing demographic, women motorcycle riders, so stay with it and inspire some other women.
Me and my sister and my dad, we all got pit shirts like the moment that we found out she was getting them when she went pro, because in order to be in the pits you have to have a college shirt.
I guess one of my jobs I do remember, which you'll probably not like if I say it, but I would take off her dirty socks when they were sweaty. Don't ask me why I have to share that with everyone, but I did that, so I was a very dedicated friend. I would always do that, I'd help her take her leathers off, you know. And then just moral support too, when she'd have a really bad day or something just wasn't going right, you just try to encourage, because I like when people do that to me as well. So numerous jobs, umbrella girl, fan girl in the pits, that Megan liked that role, we both like that, pretty much anything.
She was finding her own space and finding her passion and going after that goal that she wanted. She was making a full-blown run at it.
The only female in competition in the GNC2 class today is coming to us from West Elise, Wisconsin, the big number 35L, Charlotte Kainz.
Charlotte, how are you feeling about leading into this GNC2 main?
I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I think that could be pretty much like the heat, so...
One rider from the middle goes absolutely nowhere. That's Charlotte Kainz. She is deep in the field. She's going to have her work cut out if she wants to make the main.
Up the inside, Charlotte Kainz makes a bid, moves into third. She's running the very bottom of the racetrack. There's a little bit moisture left down there for her to work with.
She had a horrible start. She was deep in the field. Now Monaco drops to the bottom. Hayden Gillum up high. Charlotte Kainz on the bottom in the third spot. 35L coming to the front. 2 laps to go. We still got 8 bikes battle for the lead. Here comes Charlotte Kainz up the bottom.
With a pass up the inside. Great run by the 35L. Little Charlotte Kainz leads them off at turn 2.
They're zigzagging back and forth. Monaco in second. Hayden Gillum right now in third. Only the top 3 will advance.
What a run by 35L. Charlotte Kainz. This is going to be maybe our first opportunity to talk to her. She's got 2 more corners to bring the checkered flag home.
And this one wasn't given to her. She was deep in the field. Now she leads them off the final corner. Here comes the young female Charlotte Kainz to win a semifinal here at Rapid City. What a ride by that young lady. Charlotte Kainz, ladies and gentlemen, she can hear you right now, and she takes the win on the 35L. This little bitty thing right here, she can't weigh more than 90 pounds. She is trying to make her way to that victory podium. Man, this young lady from West Allis, Wisconsin takes the win, beating the boys and coming from deep in the field to do so. She's going to try to negotiate her way up that ramp if she wants to. She's
like, nah, I'm not into TTs.
You guys can hang on to it.
They're going to push her up.
She's
going to run on up.
Here we
say,
go.
I'll get up there.
Kim Kuhn, take it away.
Charlotte Kainz, man, oh man, what a run working through the field. You win the semi. What's the expectation now for the main event and your team?
Hoping to get a good start and move through the field. I know the clutch was slipping, so I had a pretty bad start, but I'm pretty happy to be up here and to be in the main. I can't thank everyone enough helping me out. My mom and dad, Spectra Oils, Redline Cycles, Saddleman Race, Michael Marsh, American Cargo, Kennedy Racing, SBS Brakes, Hammerhead, Vortex, Race Tech Suspension, Weisco. Everyone I forgot, thank you very much.
Awesome job. Charlotte Kainz winning her semi to head to the final event here at
So for the last race of the year in 2016, we went up to Santa Rosa. It's a mile cushion track. She just wanted to get some time on it and get going. So she gets out there for practice, does pretty good. She comes in and she said to me, "That's the best I've ever felt on a cushion track on the XR." So it's time for the heat race. Charlotte gets out there, does her hot lap. They all line up. She's feeling good. I can tell she's feeling good. They get the green flag coming through turn 2. Someone fell down in front of her. Created a huge accident. There is probably 4 or 5 bikes that were down or involved. I couldn't see from where I was standing. I could not see that she was involved. I was waiting for people to come around, She didn't come around. I finally ran across the track because I knew she was involved. I ran all the way across a mile track, and I got there and I saw her, and I saw that she was being attended to. So unfortunately, we all got in the ambulance. We had to go to the hospital. And she didn't make it.
Today, the motorcycle racing world is mourning the loss of 2 promising young stars. Both died during a big race this past weekend at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. ABC 7 News anchor Kristen Z is here with the details. Kristen.
Absolutely tragic. 20-year-old Charlotte Kainz of Wisconsin died Sunday shortly after colliding with another racer. And 17-year-old Kyle McGrain of Pennsylvania died yesterday from injuries he suffered during his crash on Sunday. Their accidents came in separate races at the Santa Rosa Mile, the final event of the pro flat track racing season. Charlotte, a rising star who had just won her first event earlier this year.
All of us, we've seen a lot of people lose.
We lost a lot
we
of friends.
lost a lot of close friends over the years, and we just never think about ourselves that it's ever going to happen.
She knew what was at risk, but she loved everything about the sport, just like any one of us. And that was her attitude going out there. And she had enough talent to be that person.
After she died, I went and got another dirt bike, which was actually her old dirt bike, which was my old dirt bike, whatever. And I bought it and I've been riding like almost every weekend since, and I've never been happier. Just seeing her bikes not put on a shelf, I mean, and to see all her bikes at racetracks, it's not something to be squirreled away, you know, like that's part of her, like that bike and all of her bikes.
Her 20th birthday was a couple days before Santa Rosa. So I took the initiative and I drove up to Whitewater to see her and take her out for her birthday. And we just went out for tacos and, you know, it was simple. And I'm just really glad I got to do that.
I just watching her on Facebook and, you know, texting once in a while. Always wanting to make a date to get together, and just didn't. Wanted to see her in Springfield, and didn't. But it wasn't meant to be that way. It just wasn't meant to be that way.
I see her all the time. She's there. She's there, even if she's not there, she's there. Because she's with us in our hearts, and like I see her in my son, you know.
You know that the sport's dangerous and that terrible things like this happen, but I know that if it would have been me and like if the roles would have been reversed, you know, she would still be doing it.
So this was actually my mom's idea. I don't know, she found someone. After Charlotte had passed, of course, she found someone that made these like clay people, as you can see. But literally, this is exactly what we were wearing in a picture we took at Springfield. I think it was the spring one in 2017.
I mean, she did everything that she sought out to do at the age of 6 years old. You know, I never went to fucking space when I wanted to go at 6 years old. You know, I never did anything that I wanted to do. I don't even remember what I wanted to do at that age.
She went out there and she proved to the world what she could do, and yeah, it was very short-lived, but she was an inspiration to so many.
Charlotte Kainz possessed something in life that I've never seen from anybody else. She touched a lot of people, including me.
Jack had, as we all know, had a pretty rough spell there. And I think Aztalan ended up being part of the salvation for him. You know, grabbed him by his bootstraps and pulled him back up to where he needed to be. And I guess it was the same with us too when Jimmy passed. You reach a low point and then you got to realize, wait a minute, there's things I can be doing that can help me and others. And I think Aztalan had a chunk to do with that with Jack. The build program, I'm sure, had a lot to do with it. Just bringing him back to where he belonged.
Jack has taken over as referee, which is a big load off of our minds. You know, it's the camaraderie of going out there and working with people and seeing people and watching, you know, the little one evolve from a little bitty kid on a 50 and working their way up.
All those little races really tie in to the big races, into the national series. And it introduces young kids into the sport. And I know Charlotte started that way. You know, we all started on the little PW50 and worked our way up. And without all those local races and the smaller races, I don't think you'd see dirt track where it is right now.
Places like Azzy have remained the same, you know, like the ups and downs and the ebbs and flow of flat track, because it inevitably goes up and then it goes down, but those places are just the same.
In flat track, people still have the 35L stickers on their helmets, or they might keep it on their bike because it's not a superstition. It's just paying their respect to someone that we lost in our sport.
Charlotte Kainz Memorial Dash for Cash. Charlotte would love this race. It's an honor to be here.
It's amazing what we do in flat track. I know they do Charlotte Kainz Memorial races at different places throughout the United States, not only in Wisconsin where she was from, because she was somebody in our sport.
She forged all those paths and opened it up for girls, and now there's more girls. She opened it up just like that.